Welcome, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This meeting of the Online Presenters Toastmasters Club has now begun. Guests, please note that in order to be a member of our club, you must be a former active member of Toastmasters International. You must also have completed at least 6 Toastmasters official speeches. However, if you have substantial relevant presentation experience, we welcome you to apply for membership after demonstrating your abilities in a 2 to 3 minute speech delivered during one of our club meetings. All requests for membership are subject to approval by members of our club. If you have not already done so, please change your panel to ensure it displays your name and role if you have one, and hover over your video, right-click, and select Rename to do so. Also, please mute your microphone when you are not speaking. We have members and guests from many countries throughout the world. As a professional organization, we ask that you please be aware of language or word usage that may be considered offensive or otherwise insensitive due to cultural differences. Please note that we will be recording the meeting. Your video and audio contribution may be used for club marketing purposes. Now, please help me welcome our club president, Marianne Grady, to the virtual stage. Welcome, Marianne.
Well, thank you, Miss Sunny. Nice to see everybody. I wasn't sure we'd have a meeting tonight with the holiday being today. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to Online Presenters, where we serve those who give online presentations or aspire to do so. Happy Labor Day. Here in the United States, Labor Day pays tribute to the contributions and achievement of the American workers. Traditionally, it's observed on the first Monday in September. The holiday is created by the labor movement and became a federal holiday in 1894. For many Americans, it signifies the end of summer, and it is usually celebrated with parties, parades, and barbecues. So if you had the opportunity to celebrate today, I hope it was a great time for you. Now, I'm not sure if you've heard, but Toastmasters International has issued a challenge, and they call it the +1 Pledge. I'm hoping that you will join me in bringing a guest to a meeting before the end of December. And this is a way that they hope that clubs will grow and add to the already fantastic roster that we already have. So now we don't have a lot of guests tonight. I think just Allison is our only guest. So Allison, tell us what brings you here tonight.
Thank you, Marianne. This is my second meeting that I have attended for the Online Presenters. Last Monday evening was my very first meeting, and in 3 days, I attended 3 meetings, and I joined a local Toastmasters within about an hour from me. I am interested in joining the group. I'm an account manager, and I speak for a living in my day job, as well as do online presentations weekly to multiple clients. So this is my second of many meetings that I'm attending, and I look forward and hopefully will be joining you.
Well, that would be fantastic. And you should just reach out to Andrei Smolenko, who is our Vice President of Membership, and he can help you with anything you need. So a couple of reminders, everybody. Our webinar contest is going to be held on September 16th. And we did have somebody pull out today, so I'm sure there's at least one spot open. So reach out to David Carr, who's here on our Zoom, or go to our website. And lastly, I just wanted to let you know that I will be away for the next 2 meetings. I'm heading off to Alaska, but I know you're in good hands. Joni Laidlaw, our VPE, and Sunny Fridge, who is our Sergeant at Arms, will be taking care of business, and I know that they will be fantastic meetings. So now, what you all came here for, let the meeting begin. Put your hands together for our Toastmaster of the day, Ms. Sherry Blake.
Thank you so much for that, Marianne. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's meeting of online presenters. Again, my name is Sherry Blake, and I am so delighted to be your Toastmaster of the day. Our theme today is Live Fearless, a call to embrace courage and take bold steps in our lives, both personally and professionally. We have a fantastic lineup for you today, and each role player will explain their own role to you. So let's get started. First, I'd like to invite our timer, Andrew Byrne. Andrew, will you tell us what your role is this evening?
That was a surprise. The role of the timer is somebody that is managing the time for the meeting. And in particular, we have 3 segments: prepared speeches, impromptu speeches, and evaluations. Each of those sections of our meeting have different time parameters. Our usual meeting, unless it's an icebreaker, is a 5 to 7 minute prepared speech. You get green at the minimum of 5 minutes, 6 minutes at yellow, and 7 at the end. You have a 30-second grace period. The second segment is impromptu speaking, and that's 1 to 2 minutes. Green at 1 minute, yellow at 1.5 minutes, and red at 2 minutes. The third component is evaluations, and that's 2 to 3 minutes. Green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2.5, and finalized at 3 minutes when you get the red signal. Back to you.
Thank you, Andrew, for clarifying that. Now, let's introduce our grammarian, Sarah Edehen. Sarah will you explain your role today and also provide the word of the day?
Thank you, Sherry. The word of the day is audacity. Audacity is the willingness to take bold steps, bold risks, often showing a daring confidence or disregard for conventional thought. Audacity. As grammarian, I will be listening for that word, how many times we use the word, and also be looking out for other grammatical things, and so forth. Back to you, Sherry.
Thank you so much. Next up is our watcher, Sunny. She will have the audacity to be watching us. Sunny, please give us an overview of your role.
That is correct. As watcher, I will have the audacity to focus on the visual portion of our online meeting space, the picturesque backgrounds and body language. As watcher, I'm responsible for noticing all meeting participants, not only speakers, and when called upon, I'll provide constructive feedback for improvement. Back to you.
Great, Sunny. Thanks for taking on this important task. Our chat monitor is Karthika, who will be managing the chat. Karthika, please explain your role. Nope, she's not.
I don't see her online.
Yep, I don't either. So is someone taking on that role? I didn't get the change before the meeting. I don't know if anybody has that in their name.
It didn't, but as the chat monitor today, I will be, monitoring the chat. And to do so, you will notice that there is 2 of me. If everyone looks, there's already somebody in your private messages sending you little questions and comments. To monitor the chat, we'll share anything that's important, like the tips that have been shared so far. After all, sometimes we have the audacity to do things different, but we ask that we keep in mind that we want to be respectful to our speakers, and we'll try to keep the chat to a minimum while persons are speaking, and I'll give the report when called upon to do so.
Thank you so much. Next, let's hear from our vote counter, Carolina. Carolina, can you explain what you will be doing this evening?
Yes, sure. My job today is to count the votes for your favorite prepared speaker, impromptu speaker, and evaluator. I will put a link in the chat, and through that link, you can vote. because our app has this fantastic feature. Back to you, Sherry.
Thank you so much. Next is our tip of, no, I'm not going to do that yet because I know we have an R counter now. So our R counter is Ruth. So Ruth, can you tell us what you will be doing this evening?
Whenever you hear somebody use an overused word, whenever you hear them used filler words, that makes the communication harder to interpret. And so my job today is to listen out for those words from all the speakers today, all the contributors, and make note and then offer suggestions at the end. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you. So next is our tip of the day speaker, Sunny Fridge. Sunny will share a valuable tip to help us make the most of today's meeting. Sunny, can you please provide your tip of the day?
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. I'd like to introduce you to an amazing tool within Canva that's going to revolutionize how you create presentations. It's called Magic Design. Imagine being able to go from just an idea to a fully fledged presentation in a matter of seconds. Sounds like magic, right? Well, that's exactly what this tool offers, and I'm here to show you a little bit about how it works and what you can achieve with it. And I will provide a link in the chat so you can check it out for yourself. Because have you ever found yourself staring at a blank slide, not knowing where to start? With Magic Design, all you need is a text prompt. And in no time, you'll have a selection of templates ready for you to choose from. And this feature is perfect for these moments when inspiration is running low, but deadlines at work are looming. So the first place that you go is to canva.com. And then Canva is this software that allows you to create designs, many types. And today I'm going to click on Create a Design, and then I am going to choose Presentation, 16 by 9. Typically, a lot of these presentations you will see in our own meetings. Once I click there, it's going to take me to a layout. And what I want you to look at, and please let me know if you don't see what I'm talking about, but right now I'm showing you that it says use 5+ words to describe. So today's topic, or rather theme, has to do with fear. So I wanted to look at fear. So what I did just a little while ago is I put overcome the fear of public speaking. Then I click on the templates, just 5 words. And it is going to design at least 5 to 6 templates on the fear of public speaking. And so there are at least 7 of them. Mastering public speaking, conquering your fear of public speaking, conquer speaking anxiety. Let's take a look at, I'll take a look at conquer fear, conquer speaking anxiety. So when I click on it, it shows me that it has 7 slides. And so I'm going to look at all the pages and see if I can make sure that you can see this. And it gives you these slides. So just if you have just a little bit of time, it's going to give you these slides, and it's going to help you with your presentation by giving you the words. So if you look at this, it talks about conquering your fear. It talks about that it's the key to effective speaking. So if you know your topic, then you can also ad-lib and share more information. And why practice makes perfect approach. Personally, I feel it makes improvement. So if that was the case, I might change that part and say it might make improvement. So you have the option to change what you see. You also have the option to change the color of the font. And I have brand colors. So right here, I might change it to gold. Now that looks like it's just a little bit too light for the screen when you look at it. But I could also change it to another color. I could use blue instead. And if I wanted to apply it to all the slides, I could do that or just to that slide. The purpose right now is not to go through all of these slides, but when I was ready to present, I just click on present and click on present again. It would come full screen.
It's 7 o'clock.
Thank you for sharing that information. It would come full screen, excuse me, and I'd be able to present this presentation. And again, I think that's pretty helpful when you don't have a lot of time and someone wants you to give tips. So think of the 5 words that you'd like to use, and I encourage you to try to use canva.com and use Magic Design. It can help save the day, and I would say I have the audacity to say that it might even save your work. Back to you.
Thank you, Sunny, for that insightful tip. Now it's time to hear from our speakers. Our first speaker today is Carolina. Carolina will be presenting her speech titled Interaction with Boldness as part of her dynamic Leadership Level 3 project on increasing knowledge through storytelling. Carolina, we are eager to hear your inspiring message on how to act boldly and fearlessly. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, Sherry. In the year 1878, Thomas Edison was a 31-year-old inventor. He had invented an improvement for the telegraph system, and he had invented the phonograph record, which was a remarkable device to record the voice. He was beginning to have a name for himself and had created something called Menlo Park in New Jersey, the first industrial park where people were going to create their inventions. Edison gave an interview to the New York Sun in which he said, "I'm on the verge of perfecting the incandescent light bulb." This was an amazing thing to say because at the time, the only electric light that existed in the world was something called the arc light, which was used to illuminate homes. It was used outdoors and required a lot of energy. He said, "Within 5 years, I'm going to light the entire city of New York with electric light." Well, this created an incredible stir. The manufacturers, the presidents, the investors of gas companies started to panic. They had a monopoly on lighting in American homes, the infamous gaslight, and it was a very corrupt monopoly with control of prices, etc. Slowly, their stock prices started going down and down and down, and money started flowing into Thomas Edison because to be able to light the entire country with this light bulb promised astronomical profits. Edison returned to Menlo Park, and his team looked at him strangely and said, "Mr. Edison, what were you talking about? We're not anywhere near perfecting the incandescent light bulb. And to light the entire city of New York, that's a dream, that's impossible." And Edison said, "Well, gentlemen, I made that promise. We don't want to embarrass ourselves, so we'd better get to work." With all the money that flowed into him, he could now pay for the best scientists and technicians because Thomas Edison was not a mechanical genius. He was a genius in using other people's ideas. So he hired the best minds who were actually the ones working on the incandescent light bulb. And within 2 years, he created the perfect light bulb. He lit Menlo Park with his light. Maybe it's hard for you to imagine because you are so used to electric light. But to see that soft light illuminating a whole building was astounding to people who came from far and wide in New Jersey. They were amazed. How beautiful. More money started flowing in, and with that money, he built an electric station in downtown Manhattan on Pearl Street and lit it with electric lights. People in Manhattan were amazed. More money flowed in, and finally, within 5 years, he did create a system that lit the entire city of New York. Now, think about this story for a moment. If Thomas Edison had been honest and said, well, I'm interested in incandescent light bulb and I'm working on it, nobody would have paid attention. No money would have come in, and he wouldn't have been able to do it. The whole history of electric light would have been changed. But he did this bold thing by making this pronouncement. And this is the power of boldness. There's not a lot of things you can control in life. Circumstances happen that you have no control over, obstacles, etc. But doing boldness is a way of creating your own circumstances, just like Edison did. By making that bold pronouncement, money flowed in, he got attention, and he was able to realize the project he had envisioned. He literally created his own circumstances, his own power. And this is what boldness brings you. What are bold acts in this world? One of them is to act before you're ready, which Thomas Edison did. Now, it wasn't that he promised to like the entire world. That would be impossible. But to like the city of New York? Yes, that was an incredible challenge, but it was doable. Maybe some of you don't want to start a new business and you say to yourself, I'm not ready for it. I need to go back to business school. I need more money. You have to enter action before you are ready. It's a bold act that you play on your own brain, because what happens when you do this, you energize yourself. The main power of boldness is that it demonstrates to other people that you have confidence in yourself. And confidence is like a drug. It infects other people. They think there must be something real behind this person's confidence. It means something, and it gives you that power and attention. Another kind of bold act is to do something you've never done before, to go in a different direction and surprise not only yourself, but also the people around you. Boldness is in negotiations. For example, you may only be worth 1 million, but you ask for 2 million, and then probably you get 1.5 million. By asking for more, people think you're worth more, and you end up getting more. Boldness is not being afraid to be different, to be weird, to be unconventional. You create your own circumstances. Next time you face a challenge, interaction with boldness. Mr. Toastmaster, back to you.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, that informational speech. It actually hit home because I actually work in Edison, New Jersey. Yes, same Edison, New Jersey that you just spoke of. And I don't live too far from the Menlo Park Mall. So all of this, like, wow, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's talking about my neighboring town all the way from Chile. So I loved it. Thank you so much for that speech. Okay, so our second speaker is Traca. And Traca will be presenting her speech titled...
Pardon me, Sherry? I don't know if you saw, Elena was asking if she could go a little bit earlier in this series. She's actually functioning despite a power outage. So before her batteries run out, it might be a good idea if we let her sneak in.
And not a problem. Okay. So our second speaker of today is Elena, and she will be presenting her speech titled my new course strategy as part of her innovative planning level 4 project on building skills. Elena will outline her strategy to launch a new online course. Elena, we're excited to hear about your innovative approach to launching your course. The virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you very much, everyone, to give me the opportunity to, to change the, the list of the speaker. Let me first to share my presentation. Wait. Okay. Okay. Please give me a minute. Okay, I'm ready. Sorry for the dark image in my screen, but I am with the candlelight. Very romantic. Well, thank you. Good night, everyone. Today I will speak about my new project. According to my pathway, today I have to only introduce about it. So, wait, okay. This new project is about the online course. So, but what is about it? Okay, let me put in context. This is this online course that I started to design and thinking about it. It's about create a new perspective about strategy cost management, because it's like enhance the skill and knowledge to build transformation of the decision making to take the right decision for optimization of the resources and maximize the value. It's more beyond than the typical standard accounting management system that use more usually and reactive approach based on reporting of the expenditure and accountability of your expenditure. This is more preventive, more strategic. Because of that, I will use a lot of approach and framework about Lean, Six Sigma, system thinking. So, why the first question that came to me was, why would the people buy it? So let me explain you my history to understand better why I have this concern. Before to the COVID, I had been employed without any interruption for many years, for more than 30 years in energy global organizations, where I work with very complexity projects. In fact, indeed, I gained a lot of senior level visibility among my networking as an expert designing and implementing innovative strategy cost management system. But during the COVID, as you know, the energy business fell down dramatically, and major of my networking retired or just change of the business. So today I found that I need to build again this visibility as an expert, like a coach or training, and capable to provide knowledge and organization to maximize value. Because of that, 3 months ago, I started my webpage in WordPress. Also, I restarted my YouTube channel, in order to share content in LinkedIn and another project managed community, where the large target audience could be found. About content about the financial strategies, project management, process improvement. Because, as I told you, I lost many of my networking, so I need to, again, create this trust environment around me has the confident trainer and coacher in financial strategy and financial project management systems. So, what is my target audience? Well, my target audience will be definitely a small and medium organization that maybe are led by CEO, directors, and managers that maybe came from these big global energy organizations that are aware that this economical uncertainty needs a strategy and decision-making process more wisely. So in order to ensure that their investment will be paid off. So they need to create a different thing, more than reactive and accounting, more than preventing in order to enhance all the participants or their context to optimize their resources in the way that they use it, they operate it, and that the design they will use for the solutions. What is my team? My team is comprised by other two guys. One is going to help me with all these social media, image, video, in order to highlight the graphic, the graphic and the colorful of this image in order to attract more young people that could be interested in this kind of course. And the other is another partner that jointly with me, we are going to design and provide this training. Well, dear college, please, your feedback are welcome. Please help me to improve my strategy, to enhance again, to build again this major visibility and reach my final target audience. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for that speech. We appreciate you even being here under your circumstances. And we wish
it's complicated.
all the best. And hope,
wait, let me. Oh, that's complicated.
yep, hope you regain power soon.
Yeah, I'm trying to stop the sharing. Oh, what? I cannot.
Okay.
Wait.
So our third speaker is
okay, good.
Traca. Traca will be presenting her speech titled Understanding Your Communication Style, which is part of her Motivational Strategies Level 2 project on learning your style. Traca, we look forward to hearing how understanding our communication styles can enhance our interactions and effectiveness. Traca, the virtual stage is yours.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. One of the things that I learned in this project is understanding the words that are associated with who you are. And mine, off the charts, I am an initiator. That means that I'm persuasive and I like to think that I get things done. I'm also direct, which they say that means I'm also solution focused, and I'm supportive. Community really matters to me. And what was interesting for me in this project was seeing all the ways that this was showing up in my world. And I realized I can use this as a filter for the decision-making processes that I have for various things that I take on. For example, one of the things how this showed up for me is when I did my TEDx talk, I didn't know anybody else who had ever done a TEDx talk. And so it felt very alienating, and I didn't have the skills to be able to work through the process as easily as I might have been if I had some resources to tap. And I started thinking, after my talk, I started thinking this is only the beginning of all the big, audacious things I want to do in my life. How do I surround myself with a supportive community? So I brought together 8 of the most brilliant women I know, and we formed a mastermind called Bold Ambition. And the premise of that was to speak your dreams, to identify the craziest, most biggest dreams that you didn't even ever want to say out loud for fear of other people not understanding you. And also, what would it be like if you actually had somebody cheering you on and bringing resources to your biggest dreams? So I see how that initiating, being direct and solution focused and supportive, those elements all came together during our time of Bold Ambition. And what was fascinating is the very first day we met in my friend's conference room at her office. And we went around the room and I said, I want to know, what is your big, bold, audacious goals? And they said, one woman said, I want to own a $300 million real estate portfolio. And it took my breath away. I was like, who dares to dream like that? And then across the table from her was another woman who said, me too. I was like, wait a minute. I have been thinking so small all this time. And it was fascinating during our time to see how these dreams started coming together. Part of the plan that we had is every week we would report our wins. And so you could systematically see how things were coming together. One friend who said, me too, I want to own a real estate portfolio. She bought 6 houses during COVID and they cash flowed over $20,000 a month. I'm like, what? That's amazing. How did you do that? Managing them remotely, buying property you've never even seen before. How does that happen? So we started to think about what's possible, not only for me, but the collective growth in the group, this rising tide that started to open up my mind and imagine a life that I didn't even know was possible for me at the time. And creating this ambitious community, what we did is we normalized some of these just huge things that we wanted to do in life. You know, one of the women in my group, she wanted to get a new job and she was already an executive at a well-known company. She got her very next job, she got a 68% pay bump, and she used COVID and being able to work anywhere. She moved to Europe. She was like dialing in from the Cotswolds or from China or Singapore. We never really knew where she was at. That was, we'd start our meetings like, where in the world are you these days? And it was so fun to think about, like, I don't have to stay where I'm at. Where could I go? What are the possibilities? If I don't have to work from, if I can work from home, home can be anywhere. And so this created this ripple effect. And that's how I ended up moving to Mexico too. I was like, I don't have to stay in Seattle where it rains 9 months out of the year. Where else do I want to go? I ended up with a beautiful home overlooking the water and the islands in Mexico. And every day I'm so grateful for that. But it's really the group that helped open my mind to the possibilities. And so what I want to think about is also what happens when you create a community that supports each other in a meaningful way, where your dreams don't have to be hidden and they don't have to be this like dirty little secret that maybe one day I'll do, but I'm not sure how to do that. What if you spoke it out loud and people started bringing you resources and important connections? I had a friend of mine that she really admired this woman. She'd been following her very closely for like 3 years. So I hosted an event and I made her the keynote speaker for the event. And I said, oh, cool. I'd like you to meet my friend Emily. And it was amazing. They now are like working together on different projects, she got a board position as a result of this connection. And so the possibilities of what happens when we come together and speak our dreams, I realized that I have a superpower of bringing people together. And suddenly, like, I love that not only do my dreams come true, but the rising tide that lifts all boats, and also this creating this culture of ambition. Our dreams and the things that we want to accomplish, they suddenly become very, very real. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Tracer, for that insightful speech. You know, I'm a big dreamer too, but my only issue is that I always fail when it comes to the execution of my dreams. And therefore they feel like a fantasy at that point. But yes, you're surrounded by some great friends. So hopefully they'll continue to rub off on you. Next, okay, so I am thrilled to introduce our table topics master, David Carr. So David will be leading our table topics segment, which is designed to give everyone a chance to practice impromptu speaking. David, could you please tell us what we can expect from this segment?
Well, you're not supposed to know what you can expect from this session. That's being surprised is part of the point. But
tell us what it's about. The purpose of table topics.
Each of our speakers will get 1 to 2 minutes to respond to a prompt. And you know, one of the secrets is you don't necessarily have to actually answer the question. It's a little bit like being in politics. If you can pivot smoothly and they don't notice that you pivoted, then you're doing well. But you can also answer the question if you have a good answer for it. See, by the way, I think everybody's within time, so it's time to vote. Carolina's posting the link for the voting on the speakers. So one of our words of the day is audacity or audacious. I don't know if it might be just me, but I can't look at that word without thinking of a book called The Audacity of Hope. Thoughts on reclaiming the American dream. Now, I never actually read it, but somebody told me that a book is like a multi-hundred-page business card that you give out to introduce yourself to people. And this was something like a 362-page campaign brochure that helped Obama go to the Senate. I think he might have been already in the Senate. But, you know, when you think about audacity, thinking that a Black guy whose middle name is Hussein is going to get to be president after less than one term in the United States Senate, that was pretty audacious. If he'd been realistic, he never would have done that. And so the point was about being audacious enough to have hope when cynicism might seem more realistic. How do you maintain the proper balance between audacity and cynicism or realism? Jim Barber.
Oh, Mr. Topics Master. Can you hear me? I was having microphone problems before. Okay, such a deal. You started the whole thing by saying that we didn't have to answer the question directly. So here is my answer to your question. Yes. Or, if you like, prefer B. Or perhaps none of the above. None of those answer the question, but all of them are legitimate responses to a table topics question. That's given me a little bit of an opportunity to think about the question, except that I was so busy thinking about the dodge that I forgot about what the question itself was. It was, how do I do a balance between cynicism and hope? Wow. These days, that is challenging because the world seems to be filled with cynicism, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to distinguish between cynicism and realism. Is a cynic negative, or is a cynic simply realizing what's going on, simply paying attention? That makes the need for hope all the more important. And frankly, I don't think we want to balance hope with cynicism. There is so much cynicism going on that it's out of balance. We need to put as much emphasis as we can on hope itself, because hope is the future. Hope is potential. Hope is possibilities. Cynicism, we're going to stay exactly where we are, because kind of what's the point? Hope gives you hope for the future. Hope we are depending on. I don't think we want to balance cynicism with hope. I think we want to throw everything we've got at hope. It is our future. Mr. Topics Master.
Great. Thank you, Jim. My father had a saying, I admit, probably wasn't original with him, but a cynic knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. Like that one. What is the most audacious thing you have ever done? Ruth Ellen.
It's an interesting question. Is it a question I'm going to answer? Who knows? Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, my welcome guest. I love this question because it makes me have to think about the word audacity and what it means in my life. Going back to some of the speeches that we've heard today, there's different spectrums to this. And so when it comes to my understanding of audacity, it could literally be anything. It's taking boldness, steps every day. It doesn't have to be massive. It's just the ability to be able to say, actually, I'm going to take a chance on myself. I'm going to take a little bit of a risk. And so in terms of what's happened there, maybe the last 24 hours, gone back to a client and said, hey, this is my price, and not said anything else, just left it at that, rather than justifying it, rather than saying, hey, because A, B, and C. And so for me, the most audacious thing I've done in the last 24 hours is just stood by my price. And sometimes that small act of boldness for yourself can do wonders. Thank you, Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters.
All right. Well, good luck with that negotiation. But congratulations on your boldness. A theme of tonight's meeting is live fearless. When is fear a good thing? Okay. Sarah, when is fear a good thing?
Thank you, Topic Master David. Fear is a good thing if your life is in danger. Perhaps if you are standing on a cliff and the wind is blowing really hard and you don't have a lifeline, then I think that's a good time to be fearful, unless you know how to get down some other way. But I think in line with living fearless, it doesn't mean that you're never going to have that fear. It just means that you're going to figure out a way to proceed anyway. And maybe for that person that was on the mountain and the wind was blowing, maybe they had overcome the fear just to get to the top of it. So I think that fear is good. And sometimes fear moves us forward. When we're standing still, it pushes us forward. And then sometimes it's okay to say, I'm afraid of this, and I think I will stand still. Back to you, Dave.
All right. Thank you very much. The other thing that came to mind in relationship to our theme and to audacity is there is a quote from Bertrand Russell, who's a mathematician, philosopher, generally really smart guy. I don't know too much about him other than this quote. I've heard several versions of this quote, which I think just means he said it several different times in several different, slightly different ways. But he said the fundamental cause of trouble in the modern world is that the stupid are cocksure and the intelligent are full of doubt. Is that our biggest problem today? Allison.
Is that our biggest problem of today? Actually, it is, because a lot of people do not take action because they doubt themselves. So I have a saying, I don't know if it's attributed to someone or not, is that the graveyard is full of unfinished dreams. And another thing that I love to say is excuses are the most plentiful thing on earth, David. Because yeah, it is. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, if you want to qualify for table topics, you'd keep it going for at least
Oh,
a minute. So
so I wanted to for a few more seconds. Yeah, you have to have the audacity in life to go for your dreams, and you have to be anything worth doing. You have to be willing to fail first before you can really achieve success. Because if you always stay on the porch and where it's safe, you'll never get anywhere in life.
all right, thank you, Allison. And sometimes I forget when people are new at this. When you're first in Toastmasters, you find out just how long a minute is.
Yep.
Just to get
Yeah.
the green light just came on there, but
Okay.
that's
So
okay. It was still a good answer.
Okay, if I may have the audacity, David, I would like to try out for Toastmasters and the online presenters in a couple weeks, and I am known in my career as being audacious. I'm always the first one to speak up, and I'm kind of the queen of impromptu speeches.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, Queen, for blessing us with your presence. If I do, I have time.
You will make a great adjustment to this club. We need more queens, that's for sure.
Okay. Sherry, do you think I can take time for one more? How do you feel we're doing on time? I think she's saying okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna take it as an okay.
Yes, okay.
The other word that popped to mind, I was trying to think of sort of an opposite of audacious, is a braggadocious, which is a great $1 million word for somebody who is very full of themselves, possibly without great justification. How do you deal with people who are braggadocious? Andre.
Thank you very much, David, for this question. I was just thinking in my mind, what can I come up with if I was called braggadocious instead of audacious? Well, the thing is, from time to time, I catch myself being both. In some cases, for example, with my children, I'm braggadocious because I'm too careful and I'm trying to think in advance. And it gives me the feeling of control. The feeling of control is quite important. I understand it's all in my mind, but if I'm delaying things, if I'm thinking over and over again, the feeling I get that I somehow can influence the situation in a better way. Then jumping into the action boldly without really thinking properly. Braggadocious can be quite useful, especially when you're shy and you're proud of being braggadocious. You can set up lots of especially braggadocious self-help books. You can always become a braggadocious coach. Yes, why not? The possibilities are endless, only if you accept it within yourself. I do, and I share it with you, my fellow Toastmasters, that being braggadocious is a part of my life. Perhaps if you ask yourself the question, how is braggadociousness affects your life? If you ever had a chance just to be free and be audacious, I'm sure we all have our own answers. Hopefully, after this table topic, you will have a brighter picture of what the two differences are between braggadocious and going ahead, going forward. Back to you, David.
All right, wonderful. Dr. Byrne, can we have a timers report, please? Did everybody qualify? You can post the times in the chat, but just did everybody qualify, first of all? You're muted, Andy.
One person was short, but by a couple of seconds. Otherwise, everyone else did it. We did, Andre just did, for example, 2 minutes and 1 second. And we have Allison just at 1 minute, Sarah 1 minute, Ruth Ellen at 1 minute. So yes, everybody can be voted on.
Okay, great. All right, that concludes my part of the meeting. Let me turn it back to our Toastmaster of the day, Sherry Blake.
Thank you so much, David, for those questions. Those were very thought-provoking questions. And all who participated answered those questions fearlessly. So I commend everyone, because a couple of those questions stumped me. I'm glad I was not the person that you called on. So as we continue to explore today's theme of Live Fearless, we're about to enter the crucial part of our meeting, the evaluation portion. To guide us through this segment, I'm pleased to introduce our general evaluator, Jim Barber. Jim will oversee the evaluation portion of the meeting, introducing the evaluators and calling for reports from all role players. Jim, we look forward to your comprehensive feedback and insights. The virtual stage is all yours.
Oh, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Wow, nice introduction. Nice intro. I feel good. All right. I was considering, as the general evaluator this morning, this evening, whatever, I was wondering if I would have the audacity to conduct a general evaluation session without using the word of the day. But then I realized I just did anyway, so the whole question becomes moot. We'll simply proceed now into the evaluation portion of the meeting. I will alert our evaluators that since our speakers spoke out of the defined order from the beginning, I will call on the evaluators in the same order of the speakers that they were evaluating. So just so you won't be caught off guard. I will also remind our evaluators that evaluation times are 2 to 3 minutes. So choose the timing method of your choice, but try to keep it within 2 to 3 minutes. And with that, let's start with our first evaluation. Carolina gave a wonderful presentation this evening, but we're going to find out just how wonderful and why it was wonderful from Andre Smolinko. Andre, take it away.
Thank you very much, Jim, my fellow online presenters, and most importantly, Carolina. What a powerful, engaging storytelling. When you started with Thomas Edison and the light bulb, and then continue with the stories, what surrounded it. We all know about Thomas Edison, and I really like that you choose a character that's relatable to most of the people around the world. I like the slides that you put behind you in your presentation that flew nicely with your storytelling. And you were not a main character. The story that you were telling was the main character. And I think that's the skill that really will help you in your other storytelling journeys. I really like the engagement you create, and important, the 3 valuable takeaways. When you connected story with Thomas Edison's and in the past and how he built lights up in New York, and we all can enjoy it, with the title of your story is Boldness, about the bold actions that can create change. And the takeaway was quite valuable as well. I felt really curious, and knowing that you are from Chile, I would love to see the extenuation of the story, perhaps in a small Chilean village. These days, people can survive because they use Thomas Edison's lights. Or somewhere in, for example, in far Alaskan, the Eskimos in their tents can enjoy Thomas Edison invention. I would love to see a little bit more of storytelling, because you start opening up and just giving us really valuable, I personally think, really valuable, interesting information. At times, I saw that slides were not really following the story fully. Perhaps you could consider turn them off completely and just tell us the story about the Chilean village, for example, and the children benefiting from it. Or perhaps you could create a few more additional slides just to keep the story going. And overall, really engaging story that I was curious about and wanted to learn more. The message, boldness in your actions when you have the choice. Really strong call to action. And then perhaps few more slides and again, a little bit more of story. That would be my evaluation. Well done, Carolina, and thank you for that.
And well done, Andre. Thank you for your evaluation. Our second speaker this evening, in actual fact, was Elena, who is no longer able to be with us this evening. Fortunately, her evaluator is with us, and I'm sure that Elena will get her evaluation either by watching the video or by email or some other method. We are privileged, though, to hear Joni's evaluation live, and so I will now ask Joni to give her evaluation of Elena's presentation. Joni, take it away.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Who has the audacity? Who can be so audacious to show up and give a speech in the ambience of candlelight? I found that regardless of the fact that your lighting wasn't great, if you did not say anything, it really would not have been as noticeable as you think. I liked your slides. I enjoy whenever slides are included because whenever we have an accent, and I say we because I have an accent as well, sometimes whenever we start going fast, things tend to be missed. And it helps to have a slide to reference what is being said. How would I make your speech better? We can start with why people buy in, type of spiel. I know the connection, especially with that great eye contact that we were seeing, was to connect with us and to tell us. But sometimes it helps to write it down. There are multiple ways that we learned. Remember when somebody came here and had a board and was literally writing out the points? Humans connect in many different ways. So if you're going to use the PowerPoint, use it as a tool to assist you in bringing your message across even greater. Again, you had more space on your slides that you would have been able to put them above your head or make the overall text smaller so that you could add that information to give us a chance to review it as you spoke. Your eye contact was absolutely excellent, as I stated. Just remember, whenever you give a speech, we thank you, not the other way around. We are actually grateful for all that insight that you gave to us. We are thankful that regardless of the situation that you find yourself in, you could have not showed up, but you did. And you gave us a wonderful speech that we can utilize based on the tips that you provided to actually put some thought into how we would go about making our proposal. Overall, keep up the good work. I enjoyed the connection that we had, and I hope that next time we'll meet under better circumstances. You'll add more information. Back to you, our general evaluation.
And thank you, Joni. Our third presenter this evening was Teresa, and evaluating Teresa's presentation, we have our own Madam President, Marianne Grady. Marianne, take it away.
Well, good evening, everyone, and good evening, Teresa. Initiate to innovate, unleashing your bold ambition. Well, I have to let you know that Teresa is somebody who walks the talk. She has bold ambitions, and over the past few months, I've gotten to know her a little better and heard about some of them, and she's already connected me to a few interesting people. Teresa is audacious. Who are you, Teresa? Initiator, persuasive, get things done, direct, solution-focused, supportive, yet Your TEDx talk was alienating. So everyone knows that you're not, I can't, what's the word? I can't think of it, but you do have a fear in there and you're overcoming it. And that is really the example that you're putting forth. And it's wonderful. You talked about big, bold, audacious ideas. And I believe here, it would have been a great idea to ask the audience if they had any big, bold, audacious ideas and to maybe put them in the chat just to engage a little bit more. I loved hearing about those 8 brilliant women in your mastermind. You gave examples of what was an audacious idea, and that was huge. You presented with enthusiasm, and I felt your energy. It was infectious. You mentioned that you recorded wins. I would have liked to hear some examples of that, either verbal or on an illustrative slide. Your words, what's possible, collective growth, ambitious, community, normalize these things. Excellent word usage. One thought I have is that you spoke of others' successes. A personal example of your own growth would be excellent here. One other thought that I had was that you were very casual in this presentation style, and it totally worked tonight. So that's not really a complaint, but I just want you to think about if you were trying to motivate, say in a corporate setting or something else, you might want to stand up or be a little bit more formal. Again, it depends on your audience. You live possibility and connecting others, and your superpower really is bringing people together. So keep inspiring us. I truly enjoyed your speech. Thank you. Back to you, Jim.
And thank you, Marianne. All right. I believe all of our evaluators were within time, were they not, Dr. Andy?
True.
All right. All of our evaluators were within time. When you get the opportunity, if you would please cast your vote for the best evaluator this evening. And while you are doing that, I'm going to call on our various helpers because we're running close on time. I'm going to ask our helpers to please condense your reports, if at all possible, to about 1 minute. We won't time you, but just try to keep it brief. And I'll start with our counter this evening. The Wizard of Oz was Ruth Ellen. Ruth Ellen, how did we do?
We did very well. So, and were some of the words that did come up though, just to highlight the feel of the group. What's really great about this space is that everyone's learning from each other. And so one of the things I wanted to share was peanut butter and jelly, which is an acronym. Whenever you are feeling stuck with your language or communication, think of it as pausing, think of it as breathing, and thinking of yourself as being able to jump straight back in. So peanut butter and jelly. If you use that, that might help you when it comes to reducing the filler words, which we all use. Sometimes it's a cultural thing as well. And so use peanut butter and jelly just to hold it all together and make sure that you communicate with clarity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth Ellen. Appreciate that. Our watcher this evening was Dr. Hello? Okay. Our watcher this evening was Sunny Fridge. Sunny, what did you see?
What did I see? I saw a lot of good use of our background slides. We were looking really good. So many of us have the online presenter slide. I believe it was created by Karthika. Kudos to everyone. One thing that I noticed on Elena's slide is that she said, what is it about it? And even though she may have a little bit of a language barrier, there's one way that maybe if she just double checks her slides, it would even be that much better. I did not get a slide of Carolina, but I love the fact that she used the advanced share feature and she was positioned in front of her slides. That was great. What I loved about Traca is that she didn't use slides, but her mannerisms and her facial expressions really captured things, and we were still able to enjoy her presentation. In terms of background, just one more thing, Jim, I looked at your background and it's pretty busy. Not only are you chatty, but you're busy today. And it's just a thought, if you wanted to, you could use a background slide when you need it. But other than that, we all did very well today. Back to you.
And thank you, Sunny. Our grammarian this evening was Sarah. Sarah, did we talk good?
Definitely we did. And we used the word of the day 17 times, either audacious or audacity. So excellent. Just want to bring attention to some metaphors. Carolina mentioned about confidence was like a drug. And she also said that confidence infects other people. And I thought that was very good. Trace talked about having a superpower of bringing people together. And Sherry was thrilled to introduce the topics master. All of these things lets us know that we have a good use of language. And I really like the theme for today, live fearless. And of course, it went well with our word of the day, audacious or audacity. Back to you, Mr. General Director.
Thank you, Sarah. And finally, our chat monitor this evening was Joni. Joni, what did we chat about?
We discussed so many things, and that also included a special congratulations to Carolina from the Vice President of Education for completing her level 3. Overall, though, because we discussed so much, had so many points, please go to the ellipsis. I remember that's what it's called. But for those of us who prefer the 3 dots, save the chat and you can review after the fact. Back to you, General Evaluator.
All right. Thank you, Joni. Now for my evaluation of the meeting, and I'm going to keep this very short. First of all, kudos to everybody for being here. I know that especially on a long weekend, as it is in the United States, and everybody, frankly, has a good reason not to be here, but you came here anyway. Congratulations, kudos to every one of you for being here. Special kudos, first of all, to Sunny. She didn't get an evaluation, but that was a terrific tip. I will give you an evaluation right there. That was very good on Canva. We appreciate your doing that. Very well presented. I also want to give kudos to Sherry. Nothing in particular. She just did such a nice job as Toastmaster this evening. She's professional, just really did a nice job. And finally, I have to, of course, say kudos to Elena, even though she's not here at the moment, but maybe she'll hear this on video. I mean, to do a Zoom meeting by candlelight, I don't think anybody has an excuse that for any time more. Anything you come up with, if she can do a Zoom presentation by candlelight, you can do whatever needs to be done. Anyway, that was it. Carolina, have you had an opportunity to tally the votes? Who are our winners this evening?
The winners are Best Evaluator, Joni Laidlaw. Best Table Topics Speaker, Ruth Ellen. And Best Speaker, Carolina Ramírez.
Hey, all right.
Back to you.
And thank you, Madam Vote Counter, as it were. And that completes my portion of the meeting, and I am happy to return control to our Toastmaster of the day with 2 minutes to spare. Back to you. Madam, where'd they go? Who's the Toastmaster? I forgot. There you are, Sherry, after I got through congratulating you on everything. You did a nice job. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that. Everyone, we did a great job today. So I just thank everyone. And I agree with Jim. We don't have to be here. And we showed up on Monday. I know it's not a holiday for everyone, but it was great that we all showed up, because I was contemplating whether or not I would even be able to attend. But great meeting. And I just want to turn it back over to our president, Marianne.
Thank you kindly, Sherry, and everyone put your hands together for Sherry. Wonderful job tonight. Reminder, everybody, that our webinar contest is on September 16th. The winner of this contest, along with the winners of the past 2, will compete for our title in October. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. Our next meeting is on September 9th. And don't forget to sign up for a role. Now, I just wanted to check in with Allison. Allison, what did you think of tonight's meeting?
Very, very informative. Everyone did an amazing speech. I took a lot of notes, and as always, you all are phenomenal. Thank you for allowing me to join.
Well, thank you, thank you. We're happy you're here. Now, if anyone wants to hang out online, I'll keep the Zoom open.